everybody, welcome to my channel for the first battle report of the ETC 2022 in Pesaro. I know you've been waiting for this because last year these have been the videos that have been watched the most on my channel, and I understand why. I've been myself always exciting to watch battle reports from ETC games, since these are the most competitive, or for me one of the most interesting battles to play during the year. We face on round 1 Wales, and I played against Len, who was playing the Beasters. I don't have the pairing detail, unfortunately, since I wasn't as a coach. I don't have all the details how happened the pairings, but you can find out who play against who in new recruits, and I will also post you at the end an overview of what happened in the round. Here you have my list as a reminder, and here is my opponent's list. So basically he's playing 2 big blocks, 2 ambusher units, a mage bunker, a piece of chaff, 4 monsters, 2 Gortak, 2 Jabberwock, and then he has 2 characters that are heavily armored to be within the Longhorn block and guarantee them to be bodyguard. And as a magic setup, he has Master Druidism with the Seed of Dark Forest plus the Great Totem Bearer. So very strong list, I guess, quite straightforward. 2 big blocks, some ambushes with Ban of Discipline, and then some monster to move around with a good magical support. I knew exactly that what I needed to be careful about, what I needed to be potentially afraid of, meaning the big brick of Longhorn, since I faced it in the test game and it ended up pretty badly, as you saw in one of the last battle reports. Here you have the magical setups. I decided to go with Trial of Faith, since it should be able to pick a couple of wounds on the Gortaks to help me killing them from distance, and then other than that, the usual Wrath of Gods, Mighty Unbeliever, Hereditary, and Rod of Battle. Matchup analysis. So starting seems quite important in this matchup, I felt, as it often is on old ground, I feel, because you can get some board control, push the opponent back, and win a couple of inches towards the middle of the board. My game plan will, like it usually is when I face Gortaks plus Brick, to deal with the Gortak first, and then try to basically position myself in a position where I could propose him multiple units to be able to charge his Longhorn Brick and to force him to move back. I have some tools because you know it's very hard to engage the Longhorn. Like I said, I tested that in a practice game, didn't end good for me, so definitely here in this case I could use my darts to chaff them forever and at the same time score the center. I rated it as an 11 as in our matrix. Deployment. So I won the roll for side, which I wasn't too happy with, because as you see with the map, basically the Impassable don't have a big meaning in this game, so I gave him still the Impassable, but I don't feel they are a big problem for him, so I would have rather lost the coin toss for the side, but that's how it is. So he dropped for first turn. Obviously he put a Gortak here in the middle, Gortak to the side, some Jabberwock also in the flank, and as you can expect, his 2 big block in the middle, supported by the Mage Bunker and his Gargoyle scouted in a position to be able to chaff me turn 1, and the 2 ambusher units are obviously in ambush. So when I saw that, basically I did what I usually do, which is put all my scoring unit and my combat power in the middle to face him. So I put my 3 main blocks in the middle facing his 2 blocks. Basically I find out that if you look at the table, I could be in trouble to deal with a Gortak on my own. So for example, putting the Tuskers, I didn't feel confident enough and they would be annoyed by Dangerous Train. So I felt my best answer to this Gortak pushing the flank would be the Mercvets to close the flank, and once I dealt with him, I could push toward the center and be a big issue for him basically on his flank, because this unit is not so scary for my combat blocks. And then to face the Longhorn, I put on one hand my Death Star, on the other hand the unit of Tuskers that could also face Gortak. I know that I have decent chances of dealing with this Gortak, so I felt I had the right answer facing him with the Kagadai and the Tusker facing this Gortak, and my poison shooting facing the other one with potential support of hunting spears and potential attack from the Mammoth. And then left flank, basically To avoid his Jabberwock being annoying for me, I put my Giant in the front because I have decent chances of winning combat if I charge him, for example. So I felt the Giant could be a good answer to that. And if I manage to deal with him, then I could push to his backline and be very annoying for him. Other than that, I put all my scoring dart facing his Longhorn. So basically I knew that from turn 2 he would be on the center. That could be an issue for me. So I wanted to be able to chaff them as long as I needed to. That's why I put all my darts plus Sabertooth Tiger in a position to be as close as possible from his main block. So let's start with turn 1, Beast Herd. So he pushed to the flank, but what surprised me a bit, what I expected for him was either to use the Impassable and be more patient, or push hard 14 and come to a position here to my flank that would force the Mercvets to turn around a lot to shoot at him. He did like a middle solution. As you can see, that was his starting position, I guess. Yes, exactly. So I felt he didn't push max, he pushed like maybe 7 or 8 inches forward, maybe 9, but not much more than that. So I felt he could go a couple of inches more to start threatening me more. Basically, still the distance between us was quite big. That was also the purpose of the positioning of the Mercvets and my battle line, rather a bit more to the left than to the right to put some distance and make sure he has 2 turns to take before he can get into any combat. Other than that, he marched forward confidently as he should, with his Longhorn brick on the center, giving me some long charges, and he activates already a piece of chaff, but without pushing max, at least with the Gortak. We could also argue that a play could have been to already use the Relentless to push hard and put me over big pressure. That would have been obviously a risky play, but since he activated a piece of chaff, I expected some more aggression from him. Also, this Gortak didn't push max, which give me some option to play a bit more defensively and still delay the time when we will go into combat, since it's only turn 1. So that's how it is. But what he did well was try to block my darts on the starting line and also the Tuskers that are chaffed. So basically all these units could struggle to move somehow forward or be chaff since they are the Gargoyle in the front. In the magic phase, I dispel or control because I didn't want to have to use 1 dice on my face. I let him have regen on the Longhorn, and with a d6 strength 4, he managed to do 2 wounds to the first Mammoth, which was kind of unexpected. My turn 1. So I moved slightly back. First of all, I started to activate my plan to mitigate his ambush arrival. So basically I positioned the Frosty in a position where there was no way he could ambush here without getting charged, which I like. Then his only option to ambush, I put also my Giant quite close to the Tusker to avoid him ambushing in a way that he could chaff against the Tuskers. So basically he could ambush to the left and right from my monster, but without being annoying at least next turn, which give me time then to deal with him with my monsters, which I felt okay with. I charged a chaff with my bruisers and managed to put my dog in between to also avoid him coming on the board and shooting at the dog and then dying after, but still getting rid of 1 key piece of chaff. So I felt quite happy about that. Move slightly back with both the Death Star and the Tuskers to give him only like 11 charges, I guess, or 10 maybe, I don't know. 10 or 11 feel quite far away, but basically to avoid him charging me next turn. And at the same time, what I like with this charging position is that I was within 14, meaning he could charge me, and this would trigger a frenzy check, which could put him already out of position potentially. So I felt quite good about that. In my magic phase, I get a trial of face off on his Giant. He decided to keep his dice for Wrath of God, like people usually do, and I was able to. It was funny because he told me, yeah, you will do nothing, and I rolled the max, so I did 3 wounds to his Gortak, which was good, and I managed also to pass -1 resilience on his Gortak, making easier for my shots to try to get rid of him turn 1, and that's what's happened with shooting. I'm able to do with 16 shots the 3 remaining wounds on the Gortak, and that's already Gortak dead, meaning I'm getting in a strong position from this right flank because there is nothing too scary facing my Mercvets. So I like that. Close combat, I did middle-ish. Basically, I killed 4 of them. There was 1 remaining that fled. I pursued but didn't catch it. Ended up I felt that with pursuing I might ended up here in the middle of the board, triggering the frenzy and then making sure he doesn't get any overrun, and then I can countercharge him. So I felt quite good about that, but I rolled double 1 on the flea. He rolled quite big, fly over his big brick and ended up here in the back, and will be able to rally on general leadership rollable, which is 5 rollable. So not great. I would have liked to get rid of that, but with only 6 attack and a stomp and an impact hit, that's not much to get rid of 5 gargoyles. His turn 2, sorry for blurry picture, will happen sometimes during ETC because I don't have much time to take picture and notes. Basically rally on a 5 rollable, which was bad news for me. He passes his frenzy check 9 maximized rollable. No big trouble. Entered with both ambush, which was a good news because I don't have to wait more for them to come off the board. So he positioned them on the flank of my monsters, respectively the back, to shoot at me. Reform a bit his battle line, but not much movement as you can see, and push to the flank with his Jabberwock, basically giving me a middle charge or middle long to tempt me to charge, and then he would be in a good position for them to threaten my flank, which obviously I don't want. In the magic phase, he got a boosted charge on the Gortak, which I let go, and then with 3 dice against 4, he was able to regrow all gargoyles back, which was a very bad news for me. I kept all my dice to avoid that, but didn't manage to do it. With shooting, he will be able to get 1 wound of my Murkvets and 1 wound of the Giant, and that's it. My turn 2. So I need... What? Ouais, très bien, je suis sûr. Ça marche. Je tiens au jus. Dis-moi environ quand tu rentres. Oh, bah c'est pas grave, tu les auras demain si jamais. Oh, ouais, écoute, on verra, pas trop se stresser avec ça. Ça marche, bisous, ciao, ciao. So my turn 2. I need to find a way basically to have 2 units within the center because he has only already 2 on it, and I don't want to get behind from a secondary perspective. Basically what I do is activate my first Bruiser Dart to chaff the Longhorn Brick and make sure that he can wheel pass and charge me so that it doesn't get into any of my big units, so that works. But what I didn't do well is I didn't cut the straight line, and I think that should have been possible. I don't know. It's hard to tell from the picture, but I feel that with an inch or half an inch less, maybe I would have been able to cut the straight line to avoid the Gortak and both the Wild Dawn to be able to charge into my big unit. Or alternatively, I could have also either activate a second piece of chaff or basically put another dart in the center instead of the big unit. Would have been also a possibility. But basically with this positioning, I wanted to avoid the Gortak charging me and having an overrun into my big brick. So that was the play. I kept, I start pushing a bit with my Murkvets towards the middle. basically leaving him with a middle long charge. Wasn't too afraid of that. And my Tuskers remain quite far away from the Gortak in a position to countercharge in case he tries anything. I put both my monsters to deal with ambushes, so they go in front of them, making sure he cannot escape line of sight, and basically that I can charge him next turn. So he can shoot me one round, and next round I will charge and charge. Quite happy about that. Other than that, yeah, start to position my cat for maybe next round, and so on. Magic Face, he Binding Scroll, Wrath of God. Then I was able to get Trial of Face and do another 2 wounds to the giant, which was really nice. I got also -1 resilience on the Gortak, despite him using 5 dice against my 3 dice. So this time I was lucky with magic, and with shooting this time I do another 3 wounds to the Gortak, but he's still alive with 1 wound remaining, which is not great news for me. And that's the end of the turn. So basically we end up like that, tied on the secondary objective. His turn 3. So he took 2 charges. He took a Gortak, which was quite automatic because he has the boost to charge, and he had the Longhorn on the 7 non-swift try, non-rerollable. So what I could have done, so either I'm okay to face the charge, which is what I did. I was able also to cast Hereditary. I didn't really see the possibility of him coming against me with this unit that are rated as not so dangerous, but I think I a bit underestimated the potential of this combat. So he charged me with both. I could have potentially fled with the Gortak and ended up here and rally later, which would have been totally okay and quite safe, but still at risk of him. If I roll really low, maybe could have charged with like the gargoyles and stuff. So still way too risky to flee, I guess. And I felt I should be able to hold that combat. And if I do, because he took his time out before that charge, but if I do hold, I have multiple counter charge in place to basically win that middle combat. So I felt okay with that, decided to hold. He has Gortak with 1 wound remaining against my Great Khan. He cannot position himself any other than that, and his big brick ended up like that, and his Longhorn wanted to charge my chaff but failed charge in this case because he did discharge first. If he wouldn't have done it, he couldn't have succeeded with the charge. Activate the Gargoyle, pass his Smart check, and was able to chaff my Mergvets. That could have potentially placed a bit better to ensure I get the counter charge off. Move back with both ambush shot shoot at me, move slightly forward with Jabberwock to threaten me. This Jabberwock also tried to threaten my flank. In the Magic Phase, I Binding Scroll Stone Skin, so I want to be sure I don't get too many debuffs in this combat. I let him have Throne. He get also Distracting on the big block, and I managed to dispel Regen, which was very, very important. Close combat, shooting, forgot to tell you about. He did 1 wound to my Frost Mammoth, and that was it basically. Close combat, I tried to find out what were the stats about this combat. So Wild Dawn on average should do between 0 to wounds to my big unit. They don't have many attacks. Then the Gortak, I didn't have into account the multiple wound on the 6s to wound. So basically you could add, I guess, 2 wounds to this number. So I think it's between 3 and 6 more or less. And me, since I'm eating only on 5 up, I should do totally between 3 and 8 wounds with the stomps including. So it's and also I didn't take into this account the wounds that I would do on the Gortak. Basically the Gortak did 1/6, which did I think 2 wounds. It did like 7 wounds total with the Gortak if I remember correctly. My Great Khan did 2 wounds on him, and I think I tried to recalculate the combat because he has a charge, 4 rank, and a standard as a static res, which is 6. And he did something like 7 wound to me, which would be 13. I had a rank and a banner, and I lost by 5. I think would be 11, 5. I should have done 6 wounds total maybe, between the 2 wounds from the Great Khan, and then totally from all attack from tribesmen and stomps I did 4. So I had the feeling that was a bit on the low end, but still kind of okay-ish, that I felt I shouldn't have lost by so much, but still I did lose by 5, and I passed my 4 rerollable check. Even without the reroll I passed it, so luckily for me, way too risky combat for me. definitely, first of all, I should have put Hereditary on them. Second of all, I shouldn't have allowed this combo charge to be achievable. And I think here I took a big risk, wasn't punished for it. But what I can say also, on the other hand, is that even if he breaks me, looks like I can flee, end up here. I would flee on 3 dice, he pursue on 2 dice, so not sure at all that he gets me. He will, on any cases, be exposed to a flank charge from the Tuskers. So I already got the Gortak in exchange. So even if he catches me, basically would end up here in front of the cat, because within 1 inch, or against the cat, but I would have a charge in the flank. So I'm sure to get Wild on Brick plus the Gortak in exchange for this big brick. Obviously, I would be a bit down in points. It's like 1,100 more or less against like what, 1,000. So even the worst case scenario wasn't as bad as I thought when I rolled the 4 rollable. So yeah, I should have avoided that, but I think it wouldn't have cost me the game, to be honest, because if you take that into account, that is dead. I still have the Tuskers plus the Merc-Vets plus enough chaff, scoring chaff, to basically make sure I don't have to fight this, and I think I still win the game. So yeah, luckily for me, I passed the 4 rollable, which was obviously the best case for me. So I counter charge, I charge the chaff, charge his flank, so we have all combat power here towards the middle. I decided to leave this unit to chaff him. I don't know exactly if I will be able to break steadfast, and if I don't, what kind of reform I will do, so I want to keep a possibility of chaff him or slow him down, basically. I charge here, he passed 7 rollable, panic, same on the left, trying to get rid of the ambushes. Position these 2 units as possible chaff for next round, and out of line of sight of the Jabberwocky. And that's it. I think more or less pretty much everything is in combat. Magic phase, I got -1 resilience on the Wild on Brick, which was the one that was looking for. And then close shooting, nothing interesting. So he broke from both combat to the flanks. I decided not to pursue on the left and to look towards the Jabberwocky, which I think was the right choice, because he wasn't so far from the board edge, meaning he had a chance to move out of the board. And second of all, if I pursue, he could charge flank me and potentially win combat easily, isn't affected by parry and so on. So I think that was the right decision. But on the right, as you can see, he's not threatening my flanks so good. He's far away from me. I should have, I think, pursued, because we're still far away from the board edge, and make sure I get rid of them. I decided to restrain as well, and he fled, but not that much, and is still on the board, which is not great. Killed the chaff, broke this unit, they flee in front of the Longhorn, which was a bit unlucky for my opponent, so he rolled pretty low and ended up in front of the Longhorn, blocking himself. So that was, again, a bit unlucky for him. His turn 4, he rallied those guys, but kept looking at his big brick. I think he should have been looking to the back to give him potentially option. So he continued to look at the top, which surprised me a bit. Hide his mage bunker, obviously. Rallied both unit of ambushes. I was still looking at the unit, so there was no way he could escape my line of sight, but still was a bit annoying. Positioned himself to breast weapon at me and charge me if I charge against the ambushes. This one moves slightly back at the moment, try to threaten my chaff pieces. And then magic phase, he got +1 attack on his big brick, he got +2 resilience on his big brick, got a miscast, kill 5 of the mongrels. We rolled 4 dice against 4, but he was still managed to get +2 resilience. But as you can see, there is a huge traffic jam in the middle, and basically he gave a flank to the Tuskers, a back to the Zesta, a flank to them, and there is no way I can get good double overrun onto these blocks. So as long as I cannot get 2 proper units against this unit, and still I use my binding scroll basically, so it's likely to get either +2 resilience or regen, and then regrowth, and going to be bodyguard. And even the fight between general against general is a bit risky because of the blessed inscription great weapon. So I didn't feel so good about going to risk against this block, but we'll see if I manage something better. So my turn 4, I try to rearrange a bit my line, still keeping a lot of scoring unit to try to start winning the center. Didn't need this piece of chaff anymore since he's chaffing himself. looking that way. So I move slightly back, reposition myself more or less, charge the flank. He passes again, 7 rerollable on both. A magic face, gold trial of face, kill 1 Longboard, nothing particular, got a couple of shots to kill some of them. Then close combat, I break him and this time pursue to get him because I knew that he could charge me in the back. So I pursue, didn't went off the board, just ended up in front of the board, but killed these ones and they fled off the board and I just restrained basically. His turn 5. The rallied Wildhorn moved forward to chaff my units. This guy moved far away. The other one charged the back of my Frost Mammoth. And that was it. In his magic phase, he got Stone Skin off on this unit. As you can see, I'm again not in a position to double charge him because I'm double chaff here. So I will have to wait a bit more to see if that's going to be possible. My turn 5, I chaff him again. Charge with the Death Star against his Wildhorn. Try to get rid of them. Forgot to mention that I did 2 wounds to him. He did nothing to me in close combat since he already used before the breast weapon, and I broke from combat, losing by 1. I didn't pass my non-rerollable 7, and basically pursue off the board and got the points for my Frost Mammoth. So I got punished for making the wrong decision on the first turn of combat. I decided that after charging them, I will, in 1 round, I'm not likely to go through this unit and kill both characters and break the bodyguard without trying to risk anything. And I felt I had enough advance in the points to not basically take more risks. So I decided to turn around the Merc-Vets, looking at the Jabberwocky, try to kill him with my range damage last round, secure the center, and basically see what he will do turn 6, but continue to chaff him. But I felt he had enough option. Basically, if you see, even if I push the flank with the Merc-Vets, with his movement of the Mongrel, he was likely to be able to chaff me. He had still a Relentless Banner, he has still stuff to try to escape me, minimize what I might do, and just basically hold on bodyguard, as you will see. So his turn 6, yeah, he just positioned himself like that. So as you can see, even if I get unit to the back, I'm not able to kill 36 Longhorn under regen or distracting or anything else like +2 resilience. He gets Stone Skin off, come on the board with his Jabberwock, and on my last turn I will just with my shooting and magic kill the Jabberwocky basically. What happened this round? So I ended up winning 18, so 15 plus 3 from the center. Xavier won 12, Dimitri 16, Coco 17, Thomas 14, Alan 15, and then we lost on 2 table, which was Paul 6 against the Vampire, which was a tough match on all the ground, and Andy against their Warrior lost 7, but we still ended up capping whales. So that's the result of this round. What I can say about the game itself. So I felt deployment, I was okay, quite well positioned. Where I messed up was with some micro. I felt I wasn't still totally entered, totally focused in my ETC like I was going to be next round, and I did some mistakes. On Lens part, like I told him after the game, I felt he exposed his Gortak too soon to my range damage. As you can see, I have open shot turn 1 and then still turn 2. He hasn't any good charges with this position, would still get shot at. So even if I was a bit lucky to kill him in 1 turn, still next round was going to be complicated for him. So I felt he could have hidden his Gortak on the right flank a bit more to complicate it, my life. Obviously I should have found a way to not allow this combo charge turn 3, either by better positioning my chaff piece, which kind of seems possible but not 100% sure, and if not, use a second unit to chaff, or second unit, another unit to hold the ground, basically do something different. I felt here that wasn't the right decision. And I was in heavy danger to fail a leadership check and get run down. So I felt here I got away with 1, like we say in English. On the right flank, like I said, I took a bad shortcut, try to not pursue with the Frost Mammoth, to try to be active again 1 turn earlier, but I should have run him down since I wasn't afraid of a counter charge, and basically by not doing so I lost my Frost Mammoth, most likely because of that decision. center. Yeah, I just felt that it was a huge traffic jam with my big footprint. It was very hard to get a good position to multiple engage Longhorn, and I didn't find a way to have a good charge, and basically I never was in a position to really get down that brick because I had the need to chaff him and then be able to charge, and I didn't find a way to do it properly and make sure I could win that combat and not get stuck and then lose points because he's hitting really hard with that brick, and he's going to be bodyguard a long time. So yeah, that was an interesting game. Thanks a lot, Len, for the game. It was very enjoyable. I was a bit lucky at a key point, but that was also a wake-up call for me for the remainder of the tournament. I was a bit unaware of the danger at this point of time in the game. Could have cost me some points. Fortunately for me, it didn't. Happens. So yeah, that was it. Thanks a lot, Len, again for the game, and thanks all of you for watching Battle Report. Hope you liked it. Don't hesitate to comment if you have any comment on the video, and if not, talk to you soon on another Battle Report. Bye bye.